Jets and Giants did a lot on that. Vikings are in Washington. Washington surprised the heck out of me with that performance last week, and they're still right in the mix, and we forget about them. But they've had their good moments. They really have. I mean, they've done some good things. You know, sitting there at 4-4, they're not in an impossible situation. Minnesota's 6-2, and they have the idea, they have to deal with the dilemma of, do I play Bridgewater? Do I play Case Keenum? I've won with Case Keenum. I think you stay with Case Keenum for as long as you can, and you go to Bridgewater when Case Keenum stinks the place up. Otherwise, you leave him alone and let him and let him play the game. Now, Minnesota's got one thing that's an advantage for them here. They're going to be able to win that division with a pretty bad record, because the only team you have there is Detroit. Green Bay's going south. Chicago's gone. Detroit's 4-4. Schedule's not that tough for them, but you got a 2-game lead already if you're Minnesota. So I think there is a lot more imperative on Washington in this game, and I think they're the more desperate team here. And Minnesota's defense isn't nearly as good away from home, so that's a tricky game for I think for Minnesota. And I wouldn't be surprised if Washington. Now, Washington, the one problem I have with them, and the reason why I won't pick them, same reason why I picked against them last week and I was surprised. Washington's offensive line has been obliterated. Minnesota's got a pass rush. That's the problem. As far as the big game, Dallas and Atlanta, Dallas obviously is not going to have Elliott, but they've been playing very, very well. They've been getting it out of their defensive line. They've really stepped up a lot with the defense. On offense, the offensive line, which was not great early in the season, has really clicked. The thing is this. It's the same thing you watch. The reason why Prescott's been so good is he's in short yardage. He's in 2nd and 2. He's in 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. When he's in 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 9s, he's in trouble. Now, Atlanta has been just awful. Atlanta's just been terrible. They've been disappointing. They can't get the offense going. They've lost 4 of their last 5. They just can't make the plays. They can't make a big play. They can't. This week they have Freeman hurt, and they have Julio Jones hurt. Before you look at that game, and I'll stay away from that game this Sunday because of those factors, I got to know if Julio Jones is playing. I got to know, and Monji can update these two on me right now, Freeman and Julio Jones, just to see what they're saying today about them. Those two are critical. You got to have those two. Now, Bryant's hurt, but that's not as big, okay? That is not as big as the situation for Atlanta. Atlanta needs Julio Jones to play. And he's got an ankle, and Freeman's hurt too, so let's see what they say about that game. Saints and Bills. Saints have won 6 straight. Now they go up to play in Buffalo. Buffalo's had 11 days off to get healthy. New Orleans doesn't usually play as well away from home. Let's see how they handle the Buffalo defense there. Interesting game from that standpoint. Hard game to pick, hard game to like either team, because you don't like Saints if it's cold and outside. You don't like Buffalo because you just don't know what to expect out of them. Texans and the Rams. Rams are rolling without Watson. Now they're hurting again at quarterback. The drop-off to Savage is enormous. This is a game where the Rams can keep winning. Now, they're not going to let you get away with the Rams anymore. The Rams are now a big favorite in these games. Rams are 12 over the Texans. Lions are 11.5 over the Browns. Steelers are 10 over the Colts. All big one-sided games. The Pats getting 7.5 favorite and going higher against the Broncos. You have the Titans playing the Bengals. Boy, I tell you, the Bengals look like they were going to get going. Now they can't get going. You have the Chargers playing at the Jaguars. The Jaguars are playing pretty well. They should be able to run the ball on San Diego, or on L.A. Chargers, I should say. Chargers can be tough, though, so, they can have their moments. Packers are nowhere. They're going to play the Bears in Chicago. I don't know if the Packers are how many games they're going to win with Huntley at quarterback. Probably not a lot. And then you have a bad Monday night game, Miami and the Panthers, which is not a good game, not in a very exciting game. But you have the Pats on Sunday night in Denver. Does Denver bounce back? They've had a miserable couple of weeks. They really, you look at, starting when they lost to the Giants, from right there, they have been nowhere since then. Absolutely nowhere since then. So we'll see what happens. And then the Monday night game, Dolphins and Panthers, is anything but exciting. I mean, just a terrible really a terrible looking game. And right now, as you hit week 10, and you look at it and you say, all right, there's a couple of teams that are in commanding position, like Philadelphia. New England has got a very advantageous schedule the rest of the way. They're in Denver this week. They have a game against Pittsburgh. They have 5 division games to play in their last 8 games. And they have Raiders in Mexico City. So I would not be surprised if they ran the table. They'll probably be 13-3. The question is, Pittsburgh's got 2 losses. New England's got 2 losses. They play each other. That could be for home field. Kansas City has got 3 losses. They lost to Pitt, but beat New England. So we'll see what happens with them. And then you have Tennessee and Jacksonville, both with 5-3 records. Neither of them anything to write home about, but both of them sitting right there and seeing if this is going to be the year for one of them to, actually get something done. They see last night the Seahawks beat the Cardinals. And Sherman went down, another guy going down, another big star going down for the season, as he did last night. So a big loss there with Sherman going down. Arizona's just not very good. I just think, listen, they weren't good with Carson Palmer. They're not any better with Stanton at quarterback. And, they said last night before the game, they said, whatever happens tonight, Peterson was coming off a big game. They said, whatever happens tonight before the game, I was watching the pregame, and they went over and they interviewed a couple of the Seattle defenders, and they said, whatever happens tonight, Peterson is not getting he's not getting a lot of yards. They said, we might give up some big plays in the passing game, but they're not going to do it running. What did Peterson get last night? 21 carries for 29 yards. That was it. So they did a good job of shutting him down, that's for sure. So from that standpoint, they thought they could go in and run the ball. Not very good. And Seattle goes on, wins the game. And, Seattle's right there. I mean, they should be able to get a wild card. Maybe they win the division with the Rams. I could see both those teams in the playoffs. I could also see Dallas and Philly in the playoffs. I could also see 2 teams out of the South in the playoffs. So Philly's 8-1. New Orleans right now 6-2. Minnesota's 6-2, Rams are 6-2, Seattle's 6-3, Dallas is 5-3, Carolina's got 3 losses. So you got a lot of teams right there, and that's not even counting Atlanta. So there's a lot of teams in the mix. A lot of teams in the mix in the AFC. When we come back, we'll get to Doc O'Brien on the injuries. We also get to Schrager. We'll get to some picks, all that. And if you didn't hear